Hello friends, welcome to the video number 8 for Visual Basic for applications in Excel. And well, in this video we're gonna talk about variables. Well, first of all, let's try to define what is a variable. Again, remember, I'm not a computer engineer, computer scientist, a professional programmer. I have been learning this, by looking other video tutorials or reading a little bit, and well, I have seen basically two different definitions of what a variable is. So the first of all, the first definition is just to think of it as a container for your data. You are creating a placeholder, maybe you can even think about like a bucket. So when you declare your variables, you are actually going to tell the compiler, reserve this X amount of space in memory. It's like create that container because I'm going to put some data in that place. So I need to be available. I need it to be available and I need it to be of this size. Now, another way to think about a variable is just like a label that refers or points to some data that it's residing or living inside of the computer's memory. So let's say you just put some string of text like we are going to do in this example. That string of text, it's allocated in some place in the memory, and well, that label is going to be making reference to that location, or is going to be pointing to that location in memory that actually contains your data. So, well, hopefully this will start to make a little bit more sense. One of the two. I guess you can think about two of them, the two of them, or just pick whichever makes more sense to you. As I always try to make this recommendation, if you are already working, you are in a programming environment, or if you are taking a professional course or taking classes of programming, well, just check with your professor or with your boss or your co-workers and try to use that definition so that you don't get into excessive troubles. And well, I guess later on you can start making your own choice on how to think about when you think of a variable. Now, for the naming convention, well, I guess again, just think about naming your variable something descriptive and use start with a letter. Don't use spaces. You cannot use spaces. The compiler is not gonna let you do that because actually it's gonna think like it's two different variables in a same place. So just use a single word like here. And again, remember, you can use this camel casing, which is my preferred way to do it. Or you can separate words with an underscore. You can actually use numbers. Just try not to start with a number. That can create problems, at least in VBA. So again, just make your life easy and just start with a letter, use camel casing or separate with underscores. You can actually use numbers inside of the name and avoid any kind of strange symbols or characters. So now here, well, we are inside of our subroutine here. And what I am doing now, as you can see, I have commented the option explicit. So right now I am not forced to declare any variables. So here I'm just basically creating this variable that is my username, and I'm going to assign a string of text that is my username. So again, think about, you are placing this data, this string, inside of this container, which is my variable, or I am creating this string of text and it's going to be allocated somewhere in the computer's memory, and then this is going to be the label or the tag that is going to point or reference to that location in memory that contains this string of text. Kind of weird, maybe. And well, later, next, what I'm going to do is just say, okay, the value of the range A1 I want you to make it equal to whatever it is contained inside of this bucket, which is my username, or to make it equals to whatever it is that this label is pointing to in the memory. Okay, so I guess for now I'm just gonna be using like this one. So let's say I'm gonna say whatever is inside of this variable, because well, it's gonna be kind of boring or be trying to use both at the same time, right? So I guess I'm just gonna stick to this one. Again, you just choose whatever you like or you feel more comfortable with, or consult with your teacher, your boss, or your co-workers. If you are just an amateur programmer like me, well, I guess you can choose whatever you like. And well, let's just run this very small program to see what it does. And well, sure enough, it's working. It's writing my name into, or my username into the cell A1. Here I can actually put like an empty string, run it, and then it goes away. So now, as you can see here, again, I'm not declaring any variables. I'm not making any declaration. I'm just creating the variable on the fly, and then I am using it in here. So that seems to be pretty convenient, but there is always a but, right? This is a very small program, of course, but let's say that you start having dozens of different variables and you are using them in dozens of different places, and then in just one place you make this mistake. So instead of my username, you just type my username. And so, okay, the username is going to be, again, my name. I'm going to write the program, and nothing happens. Literally nothing. Why? Well, because here I'm creating this variable and I am assigning this variable, but then this is going to be considered like another variable, and then this, well, it just is nothing. It has nothing in it, and it's assigning that as the value to the range A1. So that's why I don't have any kind of errors, and this can be very annoying when you are making a little bit longer programs and you don't know what it's going on, why the program is not doing what you want it to do. So this is where option explicit comes very in handy. If you don't have this option explicit, again, come here to tools, options, and make sure that this require variable declaration checkbox is actually checked or selected. So whenever you start a new module, again, you're going to be seeing this on the top, option explicit. So now that I have enabled this, I'm going to run the code, and immediately it's telling me compile error, variable is not defined. So let's define the variable. I'm going to reset the program. So here what we need to do is just place the reserved word dim. Dim is a shorthand for dimension. Actually, we are kind of telling the compiler to dimension the variable. So it's going to reserve a certain amount of space in memory to contain that data. So dim, now I'm going to place the name of my variable, my user name. And actually, I'm going to leave it like this for now. Now dim gets corrected, auto-corrected. And I'm going to try to run it again. So again, it's telling me variable not defined. Again, this is like a new variable for it. So here I can see, I'm going to reset the program again, that, well, what happened is that I made a mistake. I forgot this R right here. So now I'm going to try to run it again, and now I get the result that I want. Now there is just one more thing here. I'm not telling the compiler what type of data I'm going to be containing inside of this variable. So what VBA is doing, it's like protecting itself or protecting yourself as a programmer. So it's assigning the bigger container that it has available. So whatever it is you put inside of it, it's going to be able to contain it. And that type of data we're going to put here as variant. That variant data type is the biggest container. So probably in new computers with such huge amount of memory available, it's not going to be a big deal. And especially again with small programs running inside of Excel, we're not going to be having a lot of troubles. But again, if later on you want to start learning another programming language, it's very convenient that you start getting used to declare your variables and which data type it's going to be containing there. Some programming language actually you must say or specify the type of data that is going to be contained. So in this case, I wanna use it as a string. So a string of text in the container is going to be a little bit smaller than the variant. So I'm making a better use, a more efficient use of the memory. And so now, again, this should be okay to run. I'm gonna just remove this, write it again. And well, there you go. So that's basically the brief introduction about variables, what they are. And well, this is going to be more interesting in the next video because we are going to start to talking about data types. Again, we're going to be changing this string. We're going to be using different data types to be contained inside of our variables. All right. So again, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you stay tuned. Please like and share. And well, as always, thanks all of you for watching. And I hope to see you on the next video.